Thank you for joining today's webinar on Bhakti, the heart of wisdom. We have quite a few people joining us from around the world. Sai Charanji from West Palm Beach, Florida, glad to have you on. Raj G from Michigan, thank you for joining. Shaila Shroff from Charleston, South Carolina. Dr. Shah, a regular from Troy, Michigan. Thank you for joining. And Dilip from Maryland, also a regular. Glad to have you on. Maria, namaste from Albany, New York. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm, of course, Ankur Patel, the Director of Outreach for Hindu University of America. It is my pleasure to be hosting today's webinar with Swamini Brahma Pragyananda Saraswati on Bhakti, the heart of wisdom. So we're about to get started. Anybody else want to put in the chat where you're zooming in from? And I'll give you a quick shout out, but let me introduce our topic and our esteemed faculty panelist and Swamini. So today's webinar, Bhakti, the heart of wisdom. It's going to be an enlightening exploration into the heart of Bhakti, which transcends the boundaries of traditional practices like puja, chanting, and singing. This transformative course that she will be teaching with the same title delves into profound spiritual questions such as, what does true bhakti or love for Bhagwan entail? How can we find stability amidst life's uncertainties? Why is the spiritual path incomplete without Bhagwan? And how does bhakti align with Vedanta? So we're going to have Swamini Brahma Pragyananda Saraswati lead us through this timeless wisdom. I think you're going to touch on the Narada Bhakti Sutras, which is a revered collection of 84 sutras by the sage Rishi Narada. And we'll uncover Bhakti as the essence of our spiritual wisdom, explore the nature of surrender and divine love, and learn how to live a life of effortless devotion while fulfilling our worldly duties. So we're going to touch on these topics in this webinar. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. I'll introduce Swamini Ji just shortly. Anybody else put in the chat where you are zooming in from? Sherry from Central Florida, Dr. Linda Mood, glad to have you on. Almost a regular nowadays. Thank you for joining again. All right, with that, let me introduce Swamini Ji, who is a Swamini Brahma Pragyananda Saraswati. She's a PhD traditional and contemporary teacher of Advaita Vedanta, and she's a Hindu monk. She completed a lot of studying, a lot of interactions with great teachers, including Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati at the Arsha Vidya Gurukulam. She did that in Coimbatore. And for 12 years, she studied Vedanta with Swami Brahma Vidananda in Mumbai. And she's balanced tremendous work commitments, including her work as the country director of India for Railway Children. It's an international organization focused on the rehabilitation of street children. She's impacted so many people around the world, and we are proud at Hindu University of America to have her as one of our wonderful faculty, teaching a variety of courses. I think this is the first time you're going to be teaching this, Bhakti, the heart of wisdom, but it seems like it's a progression from the different courses you teach and how the interactions and what people want to learn. So let me just give a few more shout outs before I hand it out to Swamini Ji. Justin from Poland, glad to have you on. I had a chance to speak with Justin a little while ago. Thank you for joining. Damodar from Boulder, Colorado, wonderful. Jituji from Irvine, California. Again, wonderful to have you on a regular. With that, let me hand it to Swamini Ji, who will get us into this, into the heart of wisdom through Bhakti. Swamini Ji, let me hand it to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ankur. It's always a delight to see you and hear your enthusiasm. You just set the stage so beautifully, always. So we will begin with a prayer. Today is Ganesh Chaturthi. So when Ganapati appeared and we seek his blessings, so we'll do an opening chant. And we'll also invoke the grace of the Guru Parampara. Om Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivaranam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyaye Sarva Vignopashantaye Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So the first chant was invoking Ganapati, who Shuklam Baradharam Vishnu. A lot of people think that this is a prayer to Vishnu. And actually, Vishnu or Vishnoho means that which is all pervasive. So it's a prayer to Ganpati, that the one who is white in color and who is all pervasive, in the sense that where is it that he is not? Shashivaranam Chaturbhujam, the one with 4 arms, is very helpful for meditation. And he has different weapons. There is always one hand that is blessing all the devotees with whatever they desire. The nose is to draw people towards him, and then there is a goad to strike away all that is not required. Sarva Vignopashantaye, that we seek your grace, Ganapati, so that whatever obstacles that might be there in one's path, may that be resolved. And who are you, Ganapati? You are the one who always has a very pleasant expression on your face. Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayen. I meditate on you. The one who has this very pleasing, smiling countenance. And I seek your grace so that all the different obstacles that might be in my path, may they be resolved so that I may achieve success in all my pursuits. Ganapati has been blessed by Shiva that all the devatas, let alone human beings, that even if devatas have to start any pursuit, any project, they have to seek his grace first. And he's so cute and so approachable, and he appears very quickly. So anyone who prays to Ganapati can vouch for that. So today being Ganesha Chaturthi, special mention of the elephant in the room, okay? And you know what I'm saying. So someone we might not fully acknowledge, but he's always here. The second prayer that we did was a chant unto the Guru Parampara. So until my Guru, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Parampara. So where did this tradition, this lineage of learning begin? Oh, all the way to Shiva. From where did Shiva learn all this? Sada Shiva. He, the one who is timeless, who always is. So from whom this tradition, this learning of Vedanta began. And we also have a particular mention of Adi Shankaracharya because he helped to codify and re-establish the Advaita tradition by painstakingly writing on these manuscripts, knowing fully well that goats are around and they might come there to graze, and perhaps cows also. But over hundreds of years, these manuscripts have been preserved. And so, how is it that the teaching tradition understands the Shastra? So, all that is available to us, and we are deeply blessed. So, now with the grace that has been invoked from Devatas, from the Rishi Parampara, we can now look at our topic, Bhakti, the heart of wisdom. If we look at the human child, A human child is born helpless. And alongside that helpless condition, because one has to depend on people around you. So from being cleaned to having a sip of something, breast milk, to being helped to burp, and all the other things that follow, the human infant cannot do it, cannot help himself or herself. But alongside that helplessness, there is a capacity given to trust. And so the child trusts whoever is around. Even when the parent in great enthusiasm throws up the child. Oh, look at my child. And, the child could be well getting a heart attack. Oh my God. I don't think, my father or mother have the strength to hold me. Could be thinking, but they don't. There is a complete trust. And so this is the magic of this creation, that in the first couple of years of life, alongside this helpless condition where one has to depend on everyone around for all one's basic needs, is the capacity to trust whoever is around. But then, as time goes by, that capacity to trust is eroded. So the mother that you trusted is not always around. She needs to use the washroom or she needs to run errands. She's not always there when I call out for her. And then maybe father might be around. He's also not always around as to go for work. So these people that I thought were all powerful, who will always be there for me, are not always there for me. And so I am not sure and confident, and I cannot fully trust that every time I need help, they will be there. Still, life goes on as one's own capacities grow and one engages with the world, one grows in strength. And so also one does not necessarily depend on parents for a lot of the basic things. Okay, so far so good. But still, the search for the one who will always be there for me continues. So then it is the search for one's best friend. And then again, as life goes on, one finds that there are small betrayals. You said something to a friend and said, don't tell this to anyone. And that person, influenced by Tintin, said, mum's the word. No, no, dumb's the word. I'm not going to tell this. But then, of course, people don't gossip, they just share information. So some information, and then it came back to you, and then you feel betrayed. So you thought, oh my God, like I thought I could really trust this best friend of mine, but then best friend is not best anymore. Then the search for one's girlfriend, boyfriend, however you want to term the relationship, that you expect the person to rescue you, heal you, be there for you, love you as you are. Okay. And then, most of us are very disappointed. Neither does one get a perfect, ideal boyfriend or girlfriend or, a lover. But one also cannot be that for the other person. Because as human beings, we're not consistent. We struggle with consistency. Or, of course, I am loving to you, but, I just had a bad day or a bad hair day. So then I cannot be available to you. And then that person wants your 100% attention. Then, of course, the search goes on to looking for the perfect partner. And then people get married. After all, happiness is not everything. And then one finds that you expected this person to be your partner, your healer, your teacher, your guide, your friend, your everything, your 3 a.m. buddy, and your co-traveler. And then there's just so much the person can do. Look for the perfect job, maybe, and then you say, okay, maybe having a child will complete the family picture. Then we are trying to fashion the child in our eyes. So some sort of product development work is on. You want a perfect product, and then your child at the age of 13 or 14 turns around and says, after all, what did you do for me? And then that pierces your heart. So anyway, what I'm highlighting is that we don't know it, but we are searching for the infallible. Infallible is someone who is capable of no defect whatsoever. We don't know it, that we are searching for the infallible, and that search gets projected onto different people across our life. And if we don't recognize that the search for the infallible is the search for Bhagwan, then we turn out to be angry, disillusioned, skeptical, and bitter. And you say, well, how come others found what they were looking for? Of course, you too did not find what they were looking for. I also did not find what I was looking for. You thought you were looking for these perfect, or people who could do no wrong, people who were consistent, people who could always be there for you, but perhaps you were looking in the wrong place. So an important life journey is to understand that everyone has a need for the infallible, because we keep looking for it. We keep looking for the infallible even in a job, maybe even in a guru. So my guru should be like this. Okay, you have a long list of things that the guru should be doing, let alone what you as a student should be doing. It's, you can keep that aside. So anyway, our modern living is such, we will trust Amazon with delivery. You sit in the Uber and then you expect, you've not seen the driver's driving license, okay? You're trusting that driver with your life, whichever part of the world you are in. And perhaps if you are traveling, you've gone to some other country, there also you trust. Look at it, you're trusting strangers. But it is becoming difficult to trust other people whom you know. And this search cannot be dismissed by anyone, even an atheist or an agnostic. You can say, you know what, nah, my idea of God, I don't think exists. And therefore God does not exist. But the person will still search for something that will give meaning, something that will give purpose. And so recognizing that what I have been looking for is the infallible, the one who's capable of no defect, the one who will always be there for me, is really the start of bhakti. So bhakti, the word is Sanskrit. Of course, it is also there in regional languages in India, coming from the root bhaj sevayam, which means to worship, to make offerings, to relate to someone with love and devotion. So what does Bhagwan have to say about bhaktas? We can see. Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritinorjuna arto jignyasurartharthi jnani cha bharatarishabha. So the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Krishna talks about 4 types of devotees. Chaturvidha. What do? They worship me in 4 different ways. Who are these people? They are given to good karma. Sukriti naha. Who are they? The first one is an artaha, the one who is distressed, who is in trouble, who is seeking some respite, because it's one problem after another. And therefore, the one who remembers me when the person is in distress. The second type of devotee is an artharthi, the one who seeks artha, uh, finances, property, pleasure, arthakama. Artharthi, the one who seeks all this and recognizes me, Bhagwan, as the one who provides for all of this. So therefore keeps me in good humor and keeps me in his or her corner and prays to me from time to time. Okay? So second type of devotee. The engagement with Bhagwan is a little more frequent as compared to the first one, Artaha, who only contacts Bhagwan when in trouble. So in Marathi, which is a regional language in India, there is a term called Kama Purti Mama. Okay, very, very interesting word. So Kama Purti, that until my work gets done, you have become my uncle. Okay. Then once my work is done, who are you? I don't quite know you. Out of sight, out of mind. A very interesting phrase. So anyway, so besides these 2 devotees, there is another third one. And who is this? Jignyasu. Nyatumichuhu. The one who wants to know me, Bhagwan. So the other 2, the Artaha and Artharthi, they just consider me as a means to an end. So, for me, this money is important, this promotion is important, this home is important, this vacation is important, and Bhagwan, you better help me get that. So here Bhagwan becomes a means to an end. But for the Jignasu, who has been there and done that, has achieved relative success in all his or her pursuits, and then is saying, but I find that a lot of what I have is given to me. And who is this being? I want to know more. So for the Jignasu, Bhagwan is the goal, is the end, is not a means to an end. And the 4th type of devotee is one who is a jnani. What? Jnani, the wise one, is a devotee. I thought they are all, very intellectual, dry, cold, clinical kind of people. No, no. Jnani is a bhakta. Bhagwan Krishna is saying, I'm not saying. Okay. So, Jnani, wise person, is the fourth type of devotee. And then, couple of verses down the line, he says, of all of them, Udara sarva evaite jnani tvatmaiva me matam astita sahi yuktatma mamevanuttamam gatim. So all of these are devotees and they are very dear to me. So, when Bhagwan Krishna says that all these people who relate to me are devotees, then who are we to sit in judgment of anyone, any devotee, and say, you know what? They should not be offering 50 coconuts to Ganesha. They should offer these coconuts to the poor. Maybe the person is offering to the poor and also offering to Ganesha. Some people have this idea that we must not make all these offerings to murtis. But did I ever ask you, why are you buying diapers for your child? Huh? No, no, my child is dear to me. Oh, okay. Then why are you investing in your child's education? Why are you buying so many clothes? Why are you buying so many toys for your child? So you have, what kind of a question is that? My child and very dear to me. Yes. Same thing with a bhakta. The devotee is relating to Bhagwan either through that image just becomes a representation or it is a murti. But it is a very important relationship. Then, unless it's really inconveniencing everyone, nobody has any business to say you cannot relate to Bhagwan in this way, right? Nobody from any other religion can tell you this. Nobody from within your even your sampradaya can tell you this, because your relation with Bhagwan is your personal relationship. And the beauty of our Sanatana Dharma is that you can relate however you want. You want Bhagwan to be a protector because you feel like you need protection. Bhagwan is available like that. Or you can relate to him as your mother, your father, even your lover, your child. You are free to relate to Bhagwan anyway. So, what is Bhagwan Krishna saying? Well, all these devotees are very dear to me, but Jnani tu Atma eva. Very beautiful. The wise person is indeed myself. And how come? Because for that person, the person is a yuktatma. The person's mind is totally absorbed in me. And of course, where else will the person go but will reach me, because I am the only goal to be reached, Gatim. So this, and then there's another verse after this which says Vasudevam Sarvamiti, that all that the person sees is Vasudevam, the one in whom everyone lives. You know. So right now, as we speak, where is Vasudeva? Where is Narayana? So even the word Narayana, okay, Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. So Narada, sage Narada, was a great devotee of Vishnu. And he has sort of, in TV serials, he's sort of been presented as a bit of a buffoon and someone who carries tales from here to there. But he had multi-entry visa, okay, across all three worlds, Trilokyam. He could go anywhere he wanted at any time. And he was a wise person. So this Narayana, or the abode of Nara, where everyone lives. For the Jnani, all that is here is Bhagwan, all that is here is Ishvara. This is the vision. This is the clear reality that is seen by a wise person. So as a result of which the person relates to everyone how? With love. How else? That love may appear as compassion, as care, as support, as a contribution to another person's happiness and well-being. The love may manifest in different ways depending on what is appropriate. The love for the scorpion will say, oh, thank you, namaskara. You please be away from me. Okay, I'm not going to harm you. You please don't harm me. Maybe we can coexist, but you need to be away. Okay. So, scorpion or Scorpio or whatever that might be. Huh? So, this vision that all that is here is Bhagwan is the vision of the wise person. And further, what does Bhagwan Krishna say in the Gita about who he is? See, generally, when you meet uh, different people at a gathering and you're being introduced, most of us are not very happy with the way we are introduced, right? You always feel maybe the person could have said something more or could have downplayed something, or the person went, like profuse praise, something, some idea you might have. Now, to know Bhagwan, we can have ideas, we can guess, but who better than Bhagwan himself to introduce himself? So Bhagwan explains in the Gita who he is. So first he talks about Swarupa, one's own nature. Ahamatma gudakeshaha sarvabhuta shayasthitaha ahamadishcha madhyancha bhutanamanta evacha. So from the standpoint of the form, this jagat, this world that we see, aham adi. So I am that from which everything has manifested. And then, how is all of this being sustained? I am Madhyam also. I am that which sustains everything. And what about later? Because, every moment is born, gone, seasons begin, seasons end, relationships begin, relationships end, a day begins, a day ends. So, what about that Anta? I am that also. Aham Antaha. Of what? For whom? Oh, for all the beings. So, what we refer to as laws of nature, because of the work of Newton and Kepler and Galileo, who were fighting with the church and wanted to banish God from all the laws, said, you know what? All this is all laws of nature. Okay, so we also use this term laws of nature. Laws of nature does not include God, right? Because we are all very scientific minded people. But any law implies a lawmaker, because when we are talking about a law, it is verifiable, it is predictable. Like, you look at our Panchang. So today, a lot of people have done Ganapati Puja. They would have looked, okay, what time is sunrise, sunset, Rahu Kal, what is an auspicious time to do the puja. And if you attempted to look at the calendar, the Hindu calendar, 200 years ago, you will be able to arrive at what time did the sun rise in your particular location with great accuracy. Why? Because it is dependent on the predictability of sunrise, sunset, because it has all been studied. So, what I'm highlighting is what we are calling laws of nature, this universal intelligence, is being presided over by this being called Bhagwan. So, it is Bhagavad Gita, it is not Krishna Gita, okay? So, Bhagavan is saying, I am all of this. And most importantly, especially people who struggle with inadequacy, Aham Atma, I am you, Bhagavan is saying. And I am present in all beings, Sarva Bhutashayastitaha. In a reptile, in an insect, in a bird, in an animal, in a deva, all beings. Of course, in all human beings also. So then, when you begin to understand Bhagwan in this way, you are also able to relate what you read in the Puranas with this. So, a lot of people will know, oh, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, each of them being functions that Bhagwan already speaks of here. So now recognizing that all that I have, this form, which is sustained by laws of nature. So by the air and water, fire, earth, space, so on, all that has come from Bhagwan. And so all that I'm calling mine, my ideas, my thoughts, my ambition, my experiences, they cannot be independently mine, isolated other than Bhagwan, because Bhagwan is everything. So then how does one feel for someone who has been there for you your entire life, your entire lifetimes? The air that you breathe, every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, Bhagwan is there, okay? So not sting, I will be watching you. Of course, you don't think that this is, Bhagwan is like a CCTV camera, okay? Much more. So then everything that you have is not independent of Bhagwan, in the sense that all that you are in terms of the form and its many qualities and characteristics, including the law of karma, because of which one is able to do karma and gets results, all the way that is Bhagwan. So how do you feel about someone who is there for you, who has given you all that you have, who is non-demanding, who completely accepts you as you are, because lets you be, gives you the freedom to make choices, who doesn't complain and doesn't nag, hey, you didn't talk to me today, you didn't tell me I love you 10 times a day. No complaining, no nagging. And who is ever willing to bless you. If we were talking about a person like that, then bhakti becomes my emotional response to the understanding of who this person is. So in childhood, of course, we grow up with ideas of, the devas, asuras are fighting, and then the good guys win. And we find the devas are equally flawed like me. They are also going through all kinds of emotions. So then somewhere, and for a whole host of reasons, our trust in Bhagwan doesn't really develop. We still have a lot of these childish ideas. And so one of the journeys of growing up is to also rescue God from our ideas and understand him in the way in which he introduces himself. So then, recognizing that bhakti is my response to my understanding of Bhagwan, and Bhagwan is not just another creature who is like my uncle or like my friend, but the one who pervades all of them. So then my life gets totally transformed, because now, what is a little bit of a seed in my heart? The seed of love, the seed of care. It might be for my work, it might be for some 5 people in my life, it may be for some of my favorite things, definitely for my phone, for some activities that I really enjoy doing. So, like that, we have a whole host of things we love, we like. All of these things and people and situations and places that may be our favorite places, if you had to put all of them in one basket, What are they being pervaded by? The things I like, the people I love, the situations I look forward to, all of them are being sustained by laws of nature. Who pervades all laws of nature, laws of karma? If you just appreciate this physical order, the Earth and all the other planets are moving at breakneck speed. They are orbiting, right? Okay, they are rotating and then they are revolving also. They're going around the sun. And the entire galaxy, okay, if we're looking at our little Milky Way, the whole thing is moving. And, if you are familiar with Kathak, it's one of our traditional dances whereby you do this pradakshina, Atma pradakshina. You rotate around yourself. You try doing 10 or 15, you'll get dizzy. Huh? But here, these bodies, huge masses of matter, have been spinning away for millions of years. They don't go out of orbit. They don't crash against each other. They are so predictable. This intelligence can only be presided over by a conscious being in whom this intelligence rests. So the seeds of love that we feel for different people, situations, etc., as you start to appreciate that laws of nature, laws of karma pervade everything, then there is growing love in your heart. So where there was earlier skepticism, cynicism, distrust, regret, guilt, slowly, your care for others, your care for yourself, all of that starts to pervade different situations of your life. You are growing in your love for Bhagwan. So the Narada Bhakti Sutras, they are about 84 in number. And a sutra is a very, very shorter line, which has to be decoded. So Narada was a wise person and great worshipper of Narayana Vishnu. He starts, so the way in which the text is put together, it has 4-5 categories. So first he has to define what bhakti is. And interestingly, he says bhakti parama prema rupaha. So the second sutra, that absolute love is bhakti. So relative love we struggle, right? We have all conditions, I love you because you are da, da, da. I love you because I love myself in your presence. Archie's card, in my time we used to give cards to each other, not digital cards, like you'd make a card and you'd write something in that. And we're all looking for unconditional love, okay? But nobody says, I will be unconditionally loving. Like beggars, we are like, no, who, somebody should be there for me who will be unconditional. So here Narada says, Parama Prema, this absolute love or love for the absolute is bhakti. But how to generate this love and what am I going to get out of it? So then he further explains that it is the nature of Amritam, that it is the nature of the Atma that is timeless, that is not subject to death. And he talks about Tyaga, surrender, renunciation. So, it's very easy to give up things, right? So you say, okay, I'm going to do intermittent fasting. So I'm going to skip dinner. Okay, you try it and then it works and then you're happy with it. Okay, fine. Or you say, okay, I'm going to give up my morning cup of coffee for whatever reason. Yeah, too much acidity or something like that. So you can just about manage this. But giving up your ideas, which you have cultivated over a period of time, which contribute to your identity, that's very difficult, right? So you ask a Democrat, you ask a Republican, let's not go there. Okay. So giving up your ideas and appreciating the glory of all that is Bhagwan requires tyaga, requires giving up what is not necessary. Then, of course, he talks about different expressions of bhakti. And he also refers to the rishis who talk about how each of these methods are important. So one of the rishis talks about puja, the others say that unless you know the glories of Bhagwan, how will you appreciate Bhagwan? Someone else says that the more you delight in yourself and understanding that that self is the Atma, that is the limitless, that is bhakti. So here one of the sages talks about a jnani's bhakti, a wise person's bhakti. Then someone else, Shandilya Rishi talks about offering everything. So we have that shloka also. Kayena vacha manasendriyairva. So anything that I do with my kaya, my body, manasa, with my mind, with my words, vacha, uh, and all the prakriti swabhava. So because of prakriti, sattva, rajas, tamas, I am inclined towards doing certain things. If rajas is too strong in me, I'm very busy with my to-do list and planning the next project and always on the move. So sattva is predominant in me, then I'm a little, slow, but focused on clarity, knowledge, dharma, or tamas, like what we can do today, let's do it a few weeks later. So we say in Hindi, आज करे तो कल करो तो नरसो नहीं तो कभी भी नहीं, like what you can do today, let's postpone and let's procrastinate. So Prakriti may prompt me in different ways. Kayena vacha manasendriyeva buddhyatmanava prakriti swabhavat. Whatever I do, karomi yad yad sakalam parasmai narayana samarpayami. Whatever I do, and this is, it's a wonderful shloka to set the stage for the day, because you are saying that, first of all, whatever I have is given to me by you, Bhagwan, and whatever I'm going to do, the karma that's going to unfold during the day, I make my offering unto you. And Bhagwan in the Gita also mentions that, you want to worship me, then do your swadharma. So focus on what needs to be done and recognize that dharma is pervaded by me. Laws of karma are pervaded by me, Bhagwan. So like that, Narada speaks about all these different expressions of bhakti. And interestingly, he says that it is so important because everyone wants to be loving. Everyone wants to be loved. And we never complain when we are loving, you know. So you are fully accepting of that person, whoever that person is. And whenever you are loving, you are happy. Okay. You may have had a fight with the person, but when you are happy, you are loving. When you are loving, you are happy. If you just reflect on all your experiences. So bhakti as love for Bhagwan is really love for everything. That you are, of course, you are please entitled to your kind of coffee. Okay. This doesn't mean like a blanket, I love everything and therefore I will embrace a scorpion and a snake. No, you are Vyavahara Kushala. You recognize the different forms of different functions, and therefore you don't have dvesha, na dveshti, na kankshati. So you have a pleasant neutrality to things that you're not wanting to engage in particularly, but you don't hate anything because you recognize that all forms here are Bhagwan, and you cannot help but feel love for all that is here is Bhagwan. And that's why the uniqueness of our tradition is such Sanatana Dharma. Only in Sanatana Dharma you will find this. And maybe in some other ancient cultures, nobody bats an eyelid if you find someone on the road looking up and praying. So we can pray to Surya Devata, we pray to Bhagwan, Surya, the sun, or you pray to the river, or you pray to the tree, or you pray to a young girl, do puja during Navaratri. So, or to married women, Suvasini Puja, Kanya Puja, or you also worship your tools. Ayudha Puja during Navaratri, all whatever tools. I remember when we were in the ashram, we did one puja to our laptop and our hard drive because it had a lot of recordings of Puja Swamiji, Vedanta classes and stuff like that. So everything is worthy of worship. You are worthy of worship. Atma Puja. So you are worthy of worship because every form is worthy of worship. And even if someone else is worshiping some form that you've never quite seen before, you can relate to it. Why? Because you recognize every form is a manifestation of Bhagwan. And so therefore, but I don't see it. Okay, no worries. Narada is here for us. Therefore, he will help us with our sadhana. So how to worship, what does worship involve? um, how important it is to surround ourselves with the right kind of people in terms of satsanga, the difference between preparatory bhakti, again, depending on what one's gunas are. So a lot of, I also run meditation courses. So some people, they come to me and then they say, but I cannot meditate in the morning. And I say, don't meditate. Whatever you are focused on in your work, do all of that. Then if you get some time, then it's better you meditate. Then there was another person who is a singer and saying, I don't find the time to meditate. I said, meditate while you are singing. You can meditate on the notes. Hmm? So depending on what one's gunas are, the sadhana becomes different for that person. But ultimately, your bhakti has to flower in a way that there is sarvatma bhava, that you see everything as Bhagwan, including this form. And if indeed you are ready, then you can see that the swarupa, the true nature of you and Bhagwan is one. So other forms of, divine love and all that is there in this. And so finally, I conclude with Hanuman's response when he was asked, how do you relate to Sri Rama? So Hanumanji, who is one of the greatest bhaktas and someone we worshipped, again, like Ganapati, so quick to respond, today being Saturday, you just have to finish chanting one time Hanuman Chalisa, or you relate to him and he is there for you. You will get a sign. It almost always works. So what did Hanumanji say? Very beautiful verse. Deha buddhya tu dasoham. So from the standpoint of the deha, the body, the way I relate to Sri Rama is that I am your servant. I am your dasaha. Whatever you will, it is my command. I will ensure it gets done. So the servant style leadership, which is the buzz in many corporate circles, that willingness to do whatever is required, which is required for a startup. Any entrepreneur who has some idea and wants to take it all the way to execution must be ready to, do all the odd jobs and also be the CEO. So the servant style leadership, which is that I'm willing to do whatever it takes. So Hanumanji says, I am your dasaha. Then from the standpoint of the individual and the total, so jiva, from jiva buddhya, tava amshakaha, I am a part of the total. But I'm a part of you, nevertheless. And then when I really think about who I am, that I, which can never be negated, never be dismissed, which always is, Atma Buddhya, Twam, Eva, Aham. Aham, I am that you alone. There is nothing else but one. So from the standpoint of the Atma, I am you. Hanumanji telling Sri Rama, Iti me nischita matihi. So this is my well ascertained conclusion. A lot of people relate this verse to, the first line speaking of Dvaita. And actually, this is a good verse which gives you, a quick overview of Dvaita, Vishishta Dvaita, and Advaita. So Dvaita is that my goal is to always remain as your servant. So whether you are Vishnu, you are Shiva, you are Shakti, that's how it is. Vishishta Advaita, that yes, no, I am a part of you. And of course, Advaita, I am you. So the journey of bhakti is really such that we start relating with a particular form. So that form becomes everything to us. Eka Rupa Bhakti. So that's when people start fighting. They'll say, like how they say, my daddy's strongest. So they say, my God is the best God. It is superior to all of you. Okay. It is bhakti for sure, but it needs to grow. Because you are saying one part of this world is God and the rest of it is not. And that's not correct. So that Eka Rupa Bhakti grows into Aneka Rupa Bhakti. That, like how in Ganpati Atharva Shirsha Upanishad, you say, Tvam Brahma, Tvam Vishnustvam, Indrastvam, Agnisvam, Vayustvam, Suryastvam, Chandramasvam, Brahmabhor, Bhuvasvarom. Did you get amnesia? You are praying to Ganapati. And now you're calling Indra, you're calling Ganpati Indra and Varuna and Agni and Brahma. What happened to you? Nothing happened. I see Ganapati pervading all, and therefore you are all these devatas to me. That all the forms that I'm relating to locally, around me, or in all the lokas, all of them to me are you. So that bhakti has now matured. It has become Aneka Rupa. That I am able to see the divine presence of Bhagwan across forms. So then that's why it is helpful, when we say Matra Devo Bhava, Pitra Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava. So may you grow into a person for whom all these people are like devas. They are worthy of worship. This is the vision of Sanatana Dharma because, we have become so used to a casual culture. And of course, it's good fun also. There is a time and place for everything. But we've lost out on this culture of reverence. And that is so unique to India. I mean, so unique to Sanatana Dharma. So, Aneka Rupa Bhakti, that your love extends to everyone. But what is the reality of all these different forms? It is one. It is the Atma, Ahamatma Gudakesha. And Narada helps us appreciate that Advaita Bhakti. And towards the end, he highlights aligning with Dharma as a form of worship. So a lot of people mistakenly think that bhakti yoga is distinct from karma yoga. Okay. But even if you call yourself a bhakta or a devotee, are you doing karma or not? If you are singing, if you are dancing, if you are praying, if you are worshipping, is it karma or not? Of course it is. So you cannot say that bhakti yoga does not have karma. Okay. And then if I ask the karma yogi, the one who recognizes Bhagwan who presides over laws of karma, do you have growing respect and love for Bhagwan? The answer is yes. Because if you're just doing karma and you're calling yourself a karma yogi, that's not, we don't have any secular karma yoga. Karma yoga means you recognize the presence of Bhagwan in your life. And therefore, our love is for completeness, fullness, purnatva. And the Shastra helps you see that you were always full. And with that fullness, when you relate to different people, different beings, different situations, different things, you cannot but be loving. And so that journey of bhakti culminates in you being a deeply loving person, the one who has recognized the nature of the Atma as all fullness, as all abundance, and from which all actions emerge. If you so choose to act, do karma or not. So it's a very beautiful journey. And I invite all of you to take part in the course. Uh, this is the first time I'm going to offer 2 quarters because, 84 sutras will take time. And so we're going to have 2 quarters, October to December, and then Jan to March. So I look forward to seeing all of you, and maybe you can share with your friends and family. Whoever wants to deepen their journey of bhakti, most welcome. Om Tat Sat.
Wonderful, wonderful. So if people have questions, happy to take them. Let me launch the poll right now. If you are interested, let us know. There is the enrollment question. Interested in the course. And I'll put the details in the chat as well. We had a couple questions about the recordings. Yes, this webinar will be recorded and shared. If you have any issues with that, just let me know and make sure that you get the link. Let's hear it. Damodar, yes, thank you as well. All right, looking at the Q&A box. I mean, there's such a wide-ranging conversation and there's so much depth to it. I don't even know where to start. So looking forward to any participant questions as I put the details of the course. It's going to be on Sundays, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern, starting October 13th. It'll go to December 15th. This is, again, part 1. Are there any previous students of Swaminiji in the audience? Maybe I could unmute you and you can make some comments about a previous course and if and how you're looking forward to this course. Maria, yes, perfect. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Namaste. Yes, I'm Namaste Swaminiji again. I'm looking forward to this sequence of courses. I've taken 3 of other Swaminiji's other courses on dhyana, meditation, on Swadharma, and on I forget what the actual name of it was, but it was about key verses from the Tattva Bodha and other shastra about the nature of our happiness being within us. So I'm really looking forward to this class because I think I too have kind of had, and through Swamiji's other courses, this some of these points have been made, but just exploring this more deeply, this nature of bhakti. I think I have definitely also kind of had some of this misconception of bhakti being the puja, the chanting, and which of course is wonderful, but just it's really fascinating this connection between how bhakti seems to hold the other 3, the paths, the jnana and certainly the karma and the upasana. And so just looking forward to learning a more, I guess, holistic and accurate and a more all-encompassing definition of bhakti and this journey. So thank you. Looking forward to studying with you again. And I would very much recommend, I would very much recommend that everyone consider taking this class. Swaminiji is very, I mean, you've just heard, she's very engaging and very relatable, and is very deeply living this wisdom, as I think has become very apparent. So that is it.
So sweet. Thank you, Maria. I mean, I look forward to seeing you, and you're very dear to me. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Maria. Glad that you're enjoying the courses, and I'm going to continue on this path. Vaibhavji is asking homework assignments, right? What is the workload of the course? Maybe you can just get into that briefly.
Yeah, I think most of the assignments will be reflection based. Yeah. In terms of how is one's life changing, how might one be, is becoming more loving and so on. So it requires, personal sharing and reflection.
Right on. Balaji, did you want to unmute and make a comment? I saw yes.
Yes, thank you so much. And Namaste, Swaminiji. It's a pleasure to be with you again. Like Maria said, I have taken all the previous courses with Swaminiji, and as soon as I saw this one being offered, I just registered. All I would say for the new students is do take the course, and you'll be amazed at what information you get, because all of us have always liked the way Swaminiji teaches. It's a very good blend of the modern thought process with our traditional scriptures. We have always learned a lot and kept progressing in our studies of the Shastras. So I would highly recommend everybody taking this course. And the topic itself is something that we are still struggling with on a daily basis. And I'm looking forward to gaining more insight and knowledge from Swaminiji again. So thank you so much. You have a very, very exceptional way of teaching, and it just straight away goes to our minds, and we seem to accept it very well. So thank you so much.
Yeah, very kind of you, Bila. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Vaibhavji from Rancho Cordova, thank you. Vijay Kane, Friends of HUA Houston, thank you for joining. Anybody else who would like a shout out? I see NK Kaushikji from Bhopal, India. Glad that you were able to join. I do have an anonymous kind of comment question, and I think this is one of those issues when you are open and welcoming and you engage in conversation. Sometimes the course, or especially when you open it up, time is consumed by a few students talking a lot. How do you deal with that? Are you going to do anything different this time around? And how do you approach that?
Yeah. So, our approach to learning is a traditional approach, which means that if we were to divide one into 4 quarters, so learning happens, 1/4, if, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, like 25%, let's say. 25% happens by the teacher's teaching. 25% happens by the discussions, the cohort. And another 25% happens by the student's intelligence and memory. And another 25% of the learning takes place because of the effect of time. Now, obviously, this is not a strict quantifiable ratio, but what this verse in Sanskrit highlights is the role that time, the teacher, the cohort, and one's own intelligence and effort make towards overall learning. So for me, the students engaging is very, very important, but at the same time, I will never compromise on the other students not learning because somebody is fallen in love with their own voice. So I will tell the person to hold on if there are questions, but I will allow some discussions to continue because I see that the entire group is going to benefit. So, like the eagle, one of my eyes is always focused on everyone gaining from the discussion. Although, initially it starts out as a Q&A between the teacher and the student, but it grows into a larger learning opportunity. Yeah. But I hear what the person is saying. Yeah, that you don't want your time to be compromised. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Vaibhavji kind of started with what is the recommended text. Of course, I think you're focusing on the 84 sutras of the Narada Bhakti Sutras. And so you're going to focus on half of them in this first class quarter, and then the next half in the second. But you're going to cover all 84 sutras is what I'm understanding over the 2 courses.
That's right.
Nice. Vaibhavji, please do enroll. You asked the questions. I think we gave you your answers. We'll follow up later. Arjun is asking kind of an interesting question, and I'm not sure if it's exactly worded right. It's in the chat, right? What's the attitude towards what is not bhakti? Because if everything is a manifestation of Bhagwan, what is not? I'm not sure exactly if that's what he's mentioning, but is there a converse to that? If everything is bhakti, what is not?
I'm not clear about the question.
Yeah, Arjunji, if you want to rephrase it, or I can maybe unmute you if you want to. Arjun Purohit. Yeah, we can give you a little chance. Anybody else? Also, other previous students who may want to make a comment or a suggestion or give a testimonial. Okay,
Hello.
Arjunji, go ahead.
Yeah. Namaskar. I really enjoyed your exposition of Bhakti. I'm following also Shankaracharya's I say that actually, I find it.
Arjunji, your audio is not clear. Can you not move whatever you're speaking through? The microphone is giving some feedback or something, so stop moving around.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Everything is sarvagatam, sarvam. Chaitanyam sarvagatam sarvam. Everything. So, therefore, you cannot escape God. Everywhere He is, in every form, everywhere. So, whatever we do also towards everything is, in a way, we are relating to the God, right? So, therefore, all our actions are really bhakti. So, what is not bhakti? Sorry to put you on the spot, but I really want to know.
I think it's a rhetorical question. What is not God is really implying that everything that is here is God.
Yeah.
So is there a moment that is not God? Is there a place that is not God? Is there a form that is not God? Huh? Nothing. So yeah, thank you for that.
But what is our attitude? So bhakti is our attitude towards God. How do we relate to God, right?
That's
so
right.
what actions do we do? Then you say this is not bhakti. What is it?
So if I consider that that's not a rhetorical question, what is not bhakti? Well, if I'm full of myself, it's possible I have bhakti to myself, this personality. I, me, myself. There's no place for anyone else in the room. Okay. So it's I, me, and myself, which means that I am not ready to acknowledge all the people, all the forces, all the situations. Let's keep God aside for a moment. Okay. I am not willing to recognize anyone who has contributed to my growth. And so, therefore, if I have to handle everything, I am always going to be stressed. because there are many situations in life that I don't know how to deal with. And so not recognizing that there might be Bhagwan leads to a lot of stress and a lot of guilt about what I have done in the past. And so I could take that call that, that's the way, I choose to live like this, and that's fine for me. Or if I say I am sane, I am objective, then I am willing to look at all the factors that contribute to a given situation. And then when I look at that, I cannot but recognize that there is the presence of a being that makes everything possible. Yeah.
Wonderful. Swaminiji, let's end with a shloka, right? Thank you everyone for joining. It's always my pleasure. And Swaminiji, even though I only participate on the webinars, I think I do need to take one of your courses. This might be it. We'll see. But thank you so much as always, Swaminiji, and thank you everyone for participating. If you can close us out with your closing thoughts or however you would like to.
Yeah. So it's been lovely to be here. So I just invite everyone to feel warmth and love and care in their hearts as we do the closing prayer, where we pray, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, that may all beings be happy. May all beings be free from sorrow, and may all beings be free of disease. So we find that love and care in our hearts extending to all beings, okay? If you want to visualize it as some rays of light emanating from your heart all the way to all beings across the cosmos, you can do that. Om, Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukh Abhag Bhavet, Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi, Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Harihi Om. Thank you, everyone. Look forward to seeing you.